Welcome to Photographic Therapy. I'm with the Houston Camera Exchange. I'm Bernie, the dad you wish you had. This is a place where we are a piece of equipment. We are the HDMI cable that you find at the bottom of your bag when you need it. We're the piece of film that you found that makes a difference to you when you print it. So enjoy this podcast. Today we have a really special guest. We have Jessi Bowman. Welcome, Jessi.
Hi.
Jessi is she is the curator at Flats and a founder at Flats. She is an amazing person. We're going to go over a few things. Let's start off with the word curator. I like that. You graduated from U of H?
Yep. I ended up graduating from U of H.
Hey, my wife graduated from U of H.
Nice.
Yeah, awesome. So tell me about Sightlines at the Houston Center for Photography.
Yeah. So Sightlines was actually the first show that I got to solo curate. I had been working at Houston Center for Photography for about maybe 6 years at that point, 5 or 6 years at that point. And had been kind of slowly working my way up to taking over the exhibitions department. And I was given the opportunity to curate a show that I had been kind of working on for a little while about guns and gun control and kind of at the time especially, but I know we're still really dealing with this, but like about different kind of aspects of it. Like I wanted it to be a show that wasn't just about like so anti-gun. It was more of a conversation about like what this looks like safety-wise, what this looks like, not so safe-wise. So it was kind of like a meditation on guns and where we stood at the time with it. And so the show was 5 photographers from the United States who were having different conversations. Oh my gosh, I didn't think we were going to go into this, so I'm like forgetting all their names right now because it was 2016.
No, I'm just more interested. I'm more interested in the fact that you're bringing up something that's very important in a state where it's very gun positive. Right.
That was the big thing,
which is really neat.
There was some programming that I had with it that ended up not being able to happen due to we were in a transition change with a director. So I had intended there to be programming that went along with it that was like a Krav Maga course on disarming and also like a police officer that was having a conversation about gun safety and stuff like that.
Nice.
So I wanted it to be something like that. But that was my first solo curatorial credit, and that was really such a pleasure to be able to do.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, people, all the opinions expressed on this podcast are mine, the guests, and has nothing to do with the Houston Camera Exchange. So just so you know, this isn't a political podcast. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was your photographic background. Where did you start?
Oh my God. Okay, so I started when I was like, my grandma put a Barbie camera in my hand when I was like 6 years old and like would make me photograph, not make me, I love doing it. She would have me like photograph, like she'd put a cup on the table and be like, I want every photograph on this roll of film to be a different shot. So I'd have to shoot like one roll of film of a coffee mug or something like that. Or I remember having to do the dishwasher.
That's that's training right there.
Yeah, exactly.
You had to do that in college too. I know. I did the same thing.
Yeah. But I mean, after that, I just like couldn't let go. Like, I was like, if I went anywhere, I like begged my mom to stop at like a gas station or something to get a disposable camera. I was like, I need a disposable camera. I need something. And I would take her little point and shoot, and I'd shoot with that all the time. Like she had like a little Olympus, and I would shoot with that. And then actually like a theater teacher of mine, because in high school I ended up with like, I don't know why I ended up in theater. It was just the first elective I picked. And she recognized that I always had a camera in my hand, so she marched me down to the office, changed my schedule and put me in the photo program because we had a dark room at school and stuff like that. So she put me in there junior year and was like, you need to be in this. I stayed in theater too because she was like, well, you still have theater, but
well, it seems like you have an arts background, so that's fantastic. And you know, it seems like photography was imprinted on you, whether you liked it or not.
Yeah.
So
nobody had told me I could be a photographer until her. So I was like, that's a thing. That's a job you can have. That's a career. There's more to it than just this point and shoots. Like, yeah.
That's awesome. That's the exact opposite of me when my parents found out you want to be a what? A what? A photographer? Okay. You have two choices, doctor or lawyer. No, I'm just kidding. But for the most part, photography is something that's important to a lot of people, and you know, and like I said, people always bring up the what do you shoot game, what's in your camera bag, but it's not really about that. What inspires you? What makes you want to take out whatever's in your bag, or whatever makes you want to take out your phone and take a picture of it? What is it?
Yeah, it's a lot of friends and family for me, for sure. Like, I really love...
I love that. That's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
it's a lot of... Like, I mean, I tried to shoot weddings when I was in college for money or to, like, pay rent and stuff like that, and that gave me a lot of anxiety. And, like, also, even just doing portraits or asking people to do... Like, trying to do setups with people I don't know, like, just gives me a lot of anxiety. And actually, a friend of mine a few years ago kind of really pointed out to me that, like, when I really pull in my camera out a lot is just like environmental friend situations, you know, like.
So it's pretty social for you. Photography is also very social.
Yeah. It's definitely like, definitely like the way that I document, like, or try to remember the thing, like the way that I view my situations that I'm in.
Well, one of the things that I think is really neat is, that flat. Well, let's talk about flats for a second. Mm-hmm. It's female founded and female run. I think that's probably one of the best things about it. Tell me why that's important to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a female, so I guess anything I do is going to be female run or female. So it's important to me because it's mine. But I mean, for me, what it really, really started with was community. Like I said, like I was at Houston Center for Photography. I started at Photo Fest when I was still in college and got to actually help put on one of the biennials, which was really, really pivotal time for me, like learning like that there was something else to photography than just being a photographer, you know, like learning about the exhibitions, learning about like the other jobs that go into it, curatorial, you know, all the nonprofit options and things like that. And so I got to work under the curator there at the time, Jennifer Ward, which was really, really awesome. And then she helped me transition into Houston Center for Photography. And I was there for about 8 years, I believe. And during that time, I got to work with a lot of different amazing artists and other nonprofits around the United States and the world, really. But one of them that was really noteworthy to me was working with United Photo Industry in New York. I became really close with them. And I went and visited one time, and they were like, oh, yeah, we hang out with this photographer, and we're such a little community. And I was like, oh, I really want that. I'm tired of hearing friends say like that they have to move to New York or LA. I was like, we're the 4th largest city. Why don't we have more of that here? So Flats kind of just came about of me being like, I want to hang out with more photographers. Like, I want more of a community. I want to stop hearing my friends saying they have to move. And so I literally emptied out my apartment and just I selected a few photographers that I know, and then I selected my biggest thing about Flats at the beginning was, and still is finding people that I didn't know and also that don't know each other. Was like a number one thing for me.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So that they could like, because there had been some photo exhibitions and there had been some like things where people had kind of done these DIY sort of guerrilla style art things, but it felt like they were kind of the same people doing it over and over again with the same group of artists in it and stuff like that.
Right.
So I was really wanting to expand on that so that we could expand the community. But my Scottish neighbor, or who's actually one of my best friends, she was like, "Oh, you're putting on an exhibition in your flat," and I was like,
there it is. That's what I want to know. Where did the name come from? Where did the name come from?
Yeah, so then that's what we ended up doing, for the next, I guess, 3 years. We just put on exhibitions in apartments and like around the city of Houston. So that was the other big part of it, was staying nomadic, because I was noticing at Houston Center for Photography, if you stayed stagnant or if you had the same set schedule, people would be like, "Oh, I'll catch the next one," or "Oh, I'll catch the next one." So like, we have no set rhyme or reason to location or schedule or anything to keep people on their toes a little bit and get people coming out a little more. So so we we went and emptied out a bunch of random people's apartments. Whoever wanted it, we did it. Like, I really thought people weren't going to be into that, and I had a list. By 2020, before the pandemic hit, I literally had a list of people who wanted to host one, and was just kind of working down that list.
Oh my God. That hits so hard, because it shows how visceral photography can be. Mm-hmm. And it's not just about the photography, it's about the people.
Yeah.
Right. And I think people are very critical of their own images, myself included, but, and everybody's looking for that. Did I do this right? Did I do this right? Did I do this right? Do you think, in your honest opinion, do you still feel like it's new? Is it still going on for you?
I keep getting like revivals with it for sure. Like, now we've got the lab and community darkroom space, and I've got 3 employees, and I've got all this stuff. So there's definitely sometimes where I'm like, part of like my own practice with it is I'm a little bit trying to find like that excitement again, because now it's like a real job. Like, I've quit my other job. It's not just a side project, and I'm a boss, and I have to deal with taxes, and I'm tired.
Oh, that's the crappy part of running a business, right?
Yeah.
That's what actually caused me to retire a long time ago. It's like, I stopped shooting, and it's like, you know what? It's not fun anymore.
Yeah. I did that for a while. Like, a few years back, I had stopped shooting. Because I was I wasn't quite enjoying digital, and it just wasn't coming out the way I imagined and things like that. And so for 2 years, actually, after that, I only shot with Polaroid, just to really make myself slow down and shoot again and think about it and stuff like that. And I ended up coming out with a book at that time, Jane Publishing out of Dallas had made a book for me.
Hey, you should have brought the book. We could have put
it
it right here.
It's all sold out. I want to make a second edition of it. Yeah.
You're gonna put it on Amazon. You want to do a maybe a digital book?
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, it was called Yours, Mine, and the Truth, and it was kind of the 2 years of me shooting Polaroids side by side with my now ex-husband's notes from his phone from those 2 years. So it was kind of interesting of this idea of like how tangible Polaroids are, and these ideas of memories, and how tangible and easily lost they are, and things like that. So like this idea that your truth, my truth, and the real truth, or whatever. Like, yeah.
Well, one of the reasons that you're also on our podcast is obviously because it's a lab. We're dealing with the analog.
Yeah.
Right. So when it comes to shooting, right? People always ask, well, why are you still shooting film? Why is Jessi still shooting film?
A lot for me, like I said, I just never really found my place, and with digital, it just wasn't. I didn't really like sitting and editing like that. Like, and I tried like a bunch of different things, and I went on some like fun retreats, and was in school for it and things like that. I ended up changing to art, graduating with a degree in art history, but it just never felt the same. I like not having to look at my camera. Like, I like having to think about it in frame. Like, I like being a little bit more, I feel like intentional is the wrong word, because I'm not saying that other people aren't intentional, but I like having to slow down and not being able to shoot 1,000 frames. I like having to think that what these 24 shots look like, or 36 shots look like, or whatever.
Well, I like the smell of film.
That too. I do love the smell of a dark room. The same way I love the smell of a pool. Like I love the smell of a pool. I love the smell of a dark room.
Yeah, at one point when I was a little bit younger, it's like the only thing that, like, if I was gonna date somebody, they would have to smell like Fixer. Not anymore. My wife doesn't smell like Fixer.
I was like,
no, my
you
wife
got
smells
like a
like
kink
my
where you
wife.
just pour Fixer on him.
No, but for the most part, one of the things I always ask, that I will ask my guests, because this is new for us as well, is what makes photography noteworthy?
Oh. My obsession started with it when I was so young that just, for me, just always felt so natural to be a part of it that I don't know that I can even imagine what specifically, like, I can't separate it from myself enough to imagine what makes it specifically noteworthy.
Right.
I remember like one of the first times I ever consumed too much alcohol.
We've been there. All of us have been there.
I cried because I didn't have a camera in my eye. So like for me, the noteworthy part is just like using it. I'm also ADHD dyslexic, so like sometimes words are just hard for me in general.
Sure.
Like it's just like, I think for me it was just this way of expressing myself and being able to see the world that like I can't imagine it any other way. Like I can't imagine my life without it. So like that just became noteworthy. And then being able to enjoy, like, like I said, discovering kind of the nonprofit and exhibition side and gallery side of things, being able to see how other people express themselves with it has always just been such a beautiful thing to me. And I know there's painting and stuff like that, but like there's something about the reality aspect of it too, like, and then even more so like the really artistic versions of this like altered reality of it, like, it's just fascinating to me.
Everybody tends. We're gonna talk about the not so fun stuff right now. So how's Flats doing? How business wise? How are you guys doing?
We're doing, we're not dropping or anything right now, but definitely this past year. I mean, so we just celebrated our 4th birthday as the lab and community darkroom space. We've been 7 years overall since I started the exhibition side of things, but 4 years as the lab and community darkroom. And, we continued to grow pretty steadily throughout the pandemic and things like that. We just became like, I moved into the space that we're in 2 weeks before the pandemic hit. So that was crazy. But we started like a contactless drop-off system and things like that, which we still use. It works like fire. It's awesome. But because of the price, the raising price of film and, the current economic downturn that we're in, people just, and I don't blame them. I'm not spending money the same way I was 2 years ago either, or a year ago or stuff like that. It's kind of weird times. I will say we're not declining. So that feels good. We're not steadily rising like we were, but we still have such amazing people involved. We've got a lot more people in our community darkroom than we had, which kind of helps balance things out. We have people coming in almost daily to use it. It's a small space, but it's really nice to see that. We're kind of adding more classes, or we're planning on adding some more classes. So hopefully that'll kind of help. So we're diversifying kind of what we're doing to help this kind of maybe help people stay in the film world without necessarily like having to always be buying film or anything like that. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
You guys are primarily develop and scan.
Yeah, that's primarily our business. But we also have community darkroom space. We have 3 black and white enlargers, 1 color enlarger. We give our community...
Yuck, subtractive printing.
I love it. Oh my God, I love it. It gets tedious, but I love it. But we have... So we have a tiered membership level too. We have everything from 24-hour access that you do have to apply for, that we like make sure that you know the equipment well enough, to a monthly pass to have unlimited access during our business hours. And then we also have like a $25 day pass. So you can come in for any day, pay $25 and use the dark room for that full business hour day.
Okay, cool.
So we have that. And then we also have like kind of a small classroom space where we have some digitizing options. You can bring your computer, use our flatbed. You can bring your computer and use we have a macro camera setup or macro lens camera setup for you to be able to digitize your film that way and stuff like that. So the community darkroom access and film developing, you can do your own. We have Jobo access and stuff like that. So the community darkroom memberships and day passes, like you have access to all of those things.
Okay. You have a platform right now to talk to your customers, or I don't want to call them customers, to talk to the Houston analog photographers.
To our community.
What would you want to say to them right now, to make them want to go to you guys? I mean, what do you want to say to them? You kind of have the floor. Make them come to you.
Oh, that's not a lot of pressure. Thanks. Like, like for me, one of my biggest things was making people more comfortable in these kind of spaces. Like especially as a female, I mean, I guess you asked earlier what's important about this being female run, but for me, like, I remember going into some camera stores when I was younger, mainly not here in Houston, like I've always felt comfortable in Houston Camera Exchange, and even, what was the one that was on Richmond? Like, I mean, it closed down because the people ran the car into the front of it.
Was that Southwestern Camera?
No, it wasn't Southwestern. It was on not Dunleavy.
I'm not from Houston.
Oh, you're not from Houston.
No,
okay. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm blanking on.
I'm LA. I'm an LA person.
LA. They closed down probably like, I don't know, 2012 or something like that.
Was it? I'm trying to think. Was it
Camera Co-op.
Camera Co-op.
Camera Co-op.
I have a few people who used to work there.
Yeah, that space was always amazing and stuff like that. But there was other places when I lived in Dallas and Denton and stuff like that, like just made to feel uncomfortable or kind of done. Like if I had a question,
I see that. It was usually run by old camera dudes.
Yeah, and I felt the same way as a woman walking into a comic book store, or I still feel the same way walking into a bike shop. Like I don't want to know about my bike. That's what you're here for, So for me, it was really important to make sure that everybody feels, and my employees feel the same way because most of them are female. Like, they felt the same way, and so we want to create this like inviting space that's like ask whatever question you want. Even if we've heard it a million times, we want to make sure that like you feel comfortable and like you're. This space is made for you, and this is a community, and we want to invite you into that. So for us, that's super important, and not talking down to anybody, and creating an inclusion is really important to us.
Well, that's also the motto for the store.
And you guys are great about it.
Oh no, we want people to come in. We don't want people to be intimidated.
Same.
We want to be your camera store. I'm sure you want Flats to be their lab, their space.
We want to be your community space too. We want our space is small right now, but the idea is like I had really missed working in a dark room and being next to somebody being like, I've been staring at this print too long. Is it too contrasty? Is it not contrasty enough? Can you help me? And vice versa, or things like that, or being like, oh, my film looks purple. What do I do? Like add more fix, whatever. Like, so that you're working side by side with each other again,
Okay. And, and I think one final thing I want to touch on is making sure that the photographic community, everybody knows that Flats is there to help. Right.
Yeah.
Whether regardless of what your problems are, and I'm sure your client base or your customer base or the community is not just made of Gen Z kids. Can you get my? I'm not making fun of you, Gen Z. I'm really not. But it's also we want to get a lot of the older community as well. It's like it's okay to shoot film again.
Oh, we have such a wide age range. I mean, we have as members of our darkroom.
That is awesome.
We have somebody who, our youngest member is 18, our oldest member is 80. Like, we are such a wide range, diverse group. Like, it's really cool to see.
Well, that is,
It feels like Houston. I mean, that's what it is. It feels like Houston, and that's what I wanted, you know?
Well, Jessi, thank you for coming and visiting us
Yeah,
today.
thanks for having me.
Jessi is also here. Jessi and Flats are usually here on our events. So we'd like to thank today's sponsors, Fujifilm for the cameras and stuff, Rode mics for these wonderful accessories that make us sound really, really good. And you want to shout out your socials and numbers you need for Flats?
Yeah, so we're at Flats Presents. That's our Instagram. That's our website, like flatspresents.com. I just want to shout out my team real fast. Jeremy, Uni, and Cass. They're really solid, and I'm so lucky to have them.
All right, guys.
Yeah. And we've got an event on July 21st at the Deluxe Theater. We've partnered with Houston Cinema Arts, and we're doing a analog-based short showcase, film showcase. So there's analog films from across Texas. It's about an hour long. We're doing 2 showings starting at 6, and we also have an exhibition of photographers that myself and Eunice have curated of Houston-based photographers with sort of cinematic feels to them.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Well, Houston, there it is, Flats Labs. This is Photographic Therapy with the Houston Camera Exchange. Come see us for your lighting and photographic needs. Go to Flats. Go say hi to
please.
Jessi.
Yes, please.
And we'll talk to you soon.